Hi, this is Dr. Ben Morrill. Welcome to episode 40 of Reptile Genetics Weekly. And this time we are coming to you from Blue Ridge, Texas, from our lab in Texas. I got to go and give a talk at a genomics meeting in San Diego. And just as I was walking into the airport yesterday to fly home, they said, I got a text message saying my flight got canceled. And they didn't really have a way to get me back to Virginia yesterday. So I said, well, can you get me to Texas? And they could. So I decided to come here for a couple of days until I can get back home. And we'll have to show a video a little later about how it's looking in Virginia. But yeah, many of you, I'm sure, are having some fun weather right now. Hopefully y'all are staying warm and safe. But anyway, we're in the Texas lab and decided to do this as a live tonight. Did a lot of work today. We had our first fast test results go out today, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. Well, I guess actually that's right now. That's the shed testing updates. So for update, we had our first fast test results go out. So the ones we can do the fast testing on right now are clown, DG, and VPI xanthic. And so any of those that were received by us by Tuesday morning, yesterday morning, those all got ran today. So some of you got results in less than 24 hours from when we received it. So that's pretty sweet. And anyway, so for clown, DG, and VPI xanthic, if you had just a single test for those three, then you got those results. And then on Friday, we'll be updating results again. And so any of you that your sheds get to us yesterday or today, or I guess it's today and tomorrow. If they get to us today or tomorrow, you'll have results on Friday. So it's awesome to see it's working well. And the ones we ran today, we had no reruns at all. It went really smooth and pretty. So pretty excited about that. For the normal testing, so for panels and the other mutations that we have tests for, those that run will get started like the first to beginning, it'll probably be the first week of February that'll get started. So it'll be like probably beginning to mid of the second week in February when we'll get results out to you. So those of you that have panels and those other tests have a little more time to wait, but we will have those to you here before too long. Let's see. Oh, and also I wanted to mention we'll talk a little bit about Brian Barczyk later in this episode too. As many of you have seen already, we do have sad news, definitely thinking about him and his family, but we'll talk a little bit about, he's someone that I looked up to and spent some time talking with over the years. So we'll talk about that a little bit in the episode today too. And since we're live, we have questions coming in and people saying hello. So thanks for joining in, and we'll try to keep up. I'm just on my phone this time, so if you see me doing this with my finger, then I'm trying to see people's comments, but Kayla will probably keep up with most of them since I have to like block out half the screen for me to do it.
All right, we got this.
Yes. So yeah, Kayla, how are you doing?
Hey Ben, I'm doing good. Happy to be in another live stream.
Yes. And we even got Sean here too. He's
we
at least
do.
Second.
Yeah, I heard him making some noise in the background, just a little.
Yeah, I think he's gonna pop in and say hi briefly.
I will in a minute. Sorry, I'm answering an email.
Okay, that's fine.
You got started before I was ready.
Oh no! We said it's at 7 o'clock. It just occurred to me actually that you guys are down there in Blue Ridge, but we're up in the Blue Ridge Mountains when we record. So no matter, that's funny that both of our hubs are Blue Ridges. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Oh wait, nope. I'm thinking of the wrong one. My bad. I'm looking at the comments here and making sure. It's funny. I always saw hurricane and monsoon being asked about at the same time. And so I saw this comment from Tadeo Lost Angel asking about monsoon. And I was like, wait, no, not quite.
yeah, that one we're still working on. So we had several hits to try, and so far the ones we've looked at have not worked yet. I'm hoping I'll still get it But worst case scenario, we'll have to send it to sequencing again to try to map it properly. So cross your fingers, use whatever good luck charms you got, say your prayers that we can get that, but we shall see.
Yeah. Crossing everything I got, you know.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So we've got a couple.
Part of the fun doing something that no one else has ever done before. And
yes.
Each morph test is its own journey. Sometimes they're really easy. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
And both Monsoon, Monarch, and TSK Xanthic are kind of being a pain in the butt. Even GCRA Xanthic, I thought I had something good, but it's not quite clean. So we're still working on them. And then I see some question about paint and Sentinel.
Yeah.
So that's another one. You all have sent enough sheds in that I'll be able to do the mapping for that. So that's still at least a couple months out because we'll have to do the mapping and analysis, and then I'll have some potential hits to chase. But yeah, if you do happen to have a paint Sentinel animal, we could still use sheds. If you send it in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll probably still be able to make it in that mapping that we'll be doing.
Yeah, sounds good. What about while we're at it? Anything about rainbow?
Don't have very many rainbow samples at all. But if you know, you or people you know have rainbow, especially the homozygous rainbow, I could definitely use more of those.
Yeah. Okay. Now, while we're waiting on fingers and toes cross, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
I think Sean can pop in now.
Yeah.
Sorry. What's up, everybody?
What's up, Sean?
Not too much.
So
Really good day today. Really, really good day. Brought
Yeah.
samples in, cranked them out. By 1 o'clock, we had results going up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so those are the fast tests that you were running, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. That's for those of you who haven't been keeping up with the fast testing, that is basically our Ben and Sean's latest project, making the basically making super fast turnaround time. So we get the shed, and you guys said, honestly, like how many hours would you guess, like from shed received to results sent?
Some people on this run, it was 24 hours. The shed came in yesterday and they got results.
Yeah.
I mean, less really. We received them last night or yesterday afternoon, and they had results early afternoon today. Yeah.
Man, you can't beat that. That's awesome.
Yep. And then sheds that come in Friday, it will be the same thing. The ones that come in tomorrow or Friday, they're going to have results on Friday. So
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff. Fast test is awesome. Yeah. If there's anybody in the chat who got the results from the fast test, sound off. Like that's. I was hoping some of y'all might be in there. Yeah. Oh, Great Family Snakes. Hi guys.
Hey, how's it going, Roger?
Yeah. Let's see. While we're waiting on folks to come into the chat, Ben, do you want to talk about how you got stuck in Dallas or near Dallas?
Yeah. So like I said in the intro, my flight got canceled, and they could get me to Dallas, so I figured I'd come here and do some work here and try to get back to Virginia tomorrow when hopefully things have thawed out some. And I got a message today while I was working in the lab, and Kayla's seen it, so laughing.
Yeah.
So I have a 10-year-old son, and we've got a quick video here of what he's been doing in Virginia.
Yeah. The quality isn't amazing, but you see the important part.
Little punk. Love that it says D's nuts, and then he's making a snow angel. So
it's the duality of man. We've gotten a decent amount of snow up. Well, okay, decent amount for up here. Those of you further north, don't come after us. We know it's worse for y'all, but still.
It's at least sticking. That's pretty good for Virginia.
Yes, it is. So yeah, what a legend. Let's see. So do we want to talk about the deals that we have going for some of the complexes we've rolled out?
Yeah. So we fairly recently made the Blue-Eyed Lucy complex. It includes the 6 tests listed there. So those just became live here recently. And what we're able to do, we want to have a Blue-Eyed Lucy panel test that's going to be $90. So it's essentially the same price as purchasing like Mojave and Special or Mojave and Lesser, you know, to try to find out exactly what your Blue-Eyed Lucy is. So
Hi,
what yeah, there's my wife saying hi. She must have seen that we showed Logan's video.
Yeah. Your kid's funny,
yeah.
Sarah.
Thank you for letting Ben come visit, Sarah.
Yeah, she's getting to do extra running kids around duty for 2 more days while I'm still gone.
She's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, so this makes it so you'd be able to get the whole Blue-Eyed Lucy complex. You'd be able to get all 6 tests we have right now for the price of 2. So if you pay for, like I said, Lesser and Mojave, it will just automatically run all 6 for you. And then sometime soon, Morph Market and Clutch will get that Blue-Eyed Lucy complex added. At least one of the 2 vendors is going to do that, if not both. Mm-hmm. And then the next one, I think we're going to have a post going up either today or tomorrow, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, technically it's running now.
Already went up. Awesome. So yeah, same thing with the Yellow Belly complex. So if you pay for Yellow Belly and gravel, we're just going to automatically run all 5. In this case, I think it's 5 instead of 6, but yeah.
I don't know if you went over this, but it's important that everybody remember that the first gene is full price, but the second gene is only $25.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good deal. You're grabbing them both for about $90, and we'll run the entire Yellow Belly or Blue-Eyed Lucy panel for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 for 2. That's really, really nice.
Yeah. So if you have an animal that looks like it might be part of the Yellow Belly complex, you want to know maybe what it is, then you can get all of them tested. If you've got a Blue-Eyed Lucy, you want to know what's making it a Blue-Eyed Lucy, you can send it in. We'll make it happen. So
yeah, definitely. Speaking of sending in sheds, actually, we have the shorty and like short-tailed python, blood python community has been killing it lately because they took this post that we have, which I actually didn't make this collage. I just added text over it. This was Kara Norris of the Blood Cell who made this collage of all her girls on eggs. They're amazing. And anyway, so that's been our like, you know, hey, want to send in sheds so we can make blood python morph testing a thing. But they've been doing this. And then we got this video, like probably we got tagged in this maybe an hour before the stream. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Sean hasn't seen it yet. I'm telling him.
Oh,
I can't see it on your little phone, man. My old eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
what am I looking for?
All right, so yeah, one disclaimer about it. It has music to it, but I'm going to have to mute the music. Otherwise, YouTube might do what YouTube does and copyright strike us, even though it's, you know how it goes. Either way, cool video. I'll show you. And hit and play.
Tick, tick, boom. We're bringing the noise.
There we go. This is by the Scarlet Society BP, Blood Pythons. And just the editing is nice. It's cool. And also we love these videos where people show like their systems for getting all their different sheds. And they're the first ones I've seen use a binder.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, isn't that
Right.
awesome? Yeah, there's the binder.
When did the video go up?
Oh, like probably an hour or 2 ago.
Oh, that's cool. I want to check it out. Full-size monitor where I can see that.
Right.
It's already on Ben's phone, and then it's like 1/5 the size of Ben's screen. So it's really
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, and it's vertical. I can make it a little bigger this way, but not by much. Also, their logo is so cool. So, yeah. Go, like, Blood Python guys representing.
Yes.
Love it. We love this sort of thing. If you do this for your collections, even just a picture of, you know, hey, this is what I do. Love it.
Yes, please do. Send it, upload it, and tag us, all that good stuff.
Definitely. We have from Samuel Ceresi. Just want to say thanks again, Sean and Ben, for helping Xander at Royal X Reptiles with his ball pythons.
Yeah, you bet. Sam and Xander, it's good talking with you this week. We'll get it figured out.
All right. What was going on there? Or is that just a
just talking about samples that came in and figuring out what's going on.
Yeah, the customer service started with me, and some of the testing was a little weird, so that's why I put it up to Dr. Morrill, and then Ben calls him and says, "Hey, let's sort this out," and so we figure out a game plan to figure out what's actually going on. So
look at y'all go. Good stuff.
Yes.
Oh, and thank you, Perry. The YB and Blue Eyed Lucy panels are a generous offer. Of course, guys. This is all for y'all. Hey, look who just popped in. Hi, Desert Pythons.
Hey, Antoine.
What's up, Antoine?
Let's see. Before we move on to our next thing, update from. Oh, do we have any updates on mahogany?
Nothing yet. I have some sheds, especially if you have Sumas, if you have super mahoganies, I could definitely use more of those. But those will need to go to sequencing. So those are at least 2 to 4 months out, since I'm still collecting sheds on that.
Fair enough. All right. What about lace? Got anything going on there?
I need more sheds. Yeah.
All right.
Especially if you have white lace, the homozygous version, send it in. Oh, there is one thing about the fast testing I meant to mention that I forgot.
Yeah, what's that?
Now that we have such fast turnaround for clown, DG, and VPI, some people send their samples to the post office where they want to have a signature so that they know that the mail actually got there, which makes sense. Since COVID, it seems like letters and packages get lost a little more often.
No.
But I just wanted a heads up, the post office I'll let Sean jump in. The post office here it's a pretty small town. And so a lot of the time when Sean's going there, it's not when they're open. And so if you send it, so we have to sign for it, it might make it take another day or two before we'll actually get it in the lab, because we have to go actually during the open hours, right, Sean?
Yes. Most of you guys have had a post office are familiar with it. The front door to the post office is open 24/7, so I can grab all your sheds whenever, but they'll put a card in there that's let me know that something requires a signature. And sometimes it's a couple days before I can get to it. I'm usually at the post office at 6:30 in the morning on the way into work, and I'm not there until after 5 when they close in the evening. So I've either got to send someone I know, like my elderly mother, to go pick up your stuff, or I got to run all the way to the Blue Ridge post office from my day job, which is in another city, to grab that one envelope. So we don't mind, but if you're wanting fast test results and you send it with a signature, give us a couple extra days to get to it, because typically when we go to the office, the post office, it's not open.
Yeah. So, which that wasn't a big deal before, because we had, a 3 to 5 week turnaround. But now that you have the chance to have your results, same day, next day kind of stuff for clown, DG, and VPI, if it's going to take a day or two extra, we wanted you to just have a heads up. And those are the 3 we have right now, but hopefully we'll have 2 or 3 more by the end of the month. So we're going to keep adding more every couple of weeks, hopefully. So hopefully that long turnaround will become a thing of the past, except for if you want to get like a whole panel done. If you're getting a whole bunch done, it'll still take a little more time, but we're getting more tests and faster as quick as we can.
All right. It's funny. I remember months ago we asked, hey guys, would you prefer we go have more tests or faster tests? And regardless of the answer, y'all just said, okay, let's do both. So Good job. Let's see. Oh, the Herp and Harbins are here. Y'all are, I think, related to Tom Harbin, right? I'm pretty sure, because I think you guys were part of why I do this segment a while back. So good to see you guys.
And they'll likely be interested in knowing. And I don't think I've even told Kayla this. I've told Sean.
Oh.
But at the genomics meeting where I gave the talk on Monday, I made some connections and talked to people that is going to make it possible, just like the blood python sheds too. Blood python people will be excited, and corn snakes and other species. It's going to be significantly cheaper for us to be able to do new species now. The costs have come down, and there's new ways to do things that I learned about. And like I said, made connections at this. This was a plant and animal genomics conference in San Diego. And so, yeah.
All right.
I think there's a very good chance hognoses will be one of 2 or 3 that we'll likely do this year.
Fair warning, if you're one of the larger hognose breeders in the country, you may be receiving a call from me over the next few weeks asking to organize maybe a GoFundMe to raise some funds so we can bust into hognose snakes and a couple of other species we're thinking about as well. So
Yes, please.
slow season is the time to do that. So it's right now is the time to kind of gather the troops and pile up some money where we can so we can start doing these full genomes. Stuff that's never been done before, right? So it's like breaking ground science, the fun stuff. That's what we like to do.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, that reminds me. This one's just a lighthearted, quick video, but I pulled my hognose snakes out of their first brumation this like a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, beginning of the year. Anyway, so they're eating, and my female's in her first pre-ovulation shed, and I got the funniest video of her probably an hour ago, something like that. I went to check on her, and she's all sass, and I love her. So here's video of this girl.
Master. Whoa. Ferocious. Hi. Oh my. Oh, so mad.
She's warmed
So
up now.
mad. It's okay.
Yep.
We're good. Hey, you know me. I love you. Ah. I love you too. So mad. It's okay. Hey, you know me. Come here.
Just trying to
I love you too.
Yeah.
So ferocious. It's funny. She's all hiss, and she does that like that's her ritual. I open the bin, she hisses, I pick her up, and then she's fine. It's just how she says hello at this point. Crystal's corn snake says, "I have a girl like that." Yeah. Meanwhile, her boy Mothman, just itty bitty, like 95-gram male, but he's the sweetest thing in the world. So calm. Ben got to meet him last week. Just so chill. So I figure, maybe their hatchlings will just be completely normal, personality wise. As long as he proves out for Lavender, that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, hognose stuff, super fun. Let's see. Did we talk about DG stuff? We haven't yet. Prophecy, exotics, and gaming. Oh, fun.
I think
Play
that
games
there
too.
was a DG question up above.
Oh yeah. Let me see what we got. Oh yeah. From Perry Post. What's the status of DGB runs? Will they be done at the end, or is DGB effectively unimportant compared to DGC?
So for the free DG testing, we do plan on going back through and filling those in. So if you're talking about the free DG testing, we do plan to do that for you. So it probably will be at the end. We'll go back through and fill in reruns. If on the sheet, if it says need another shed, it's probably negative for everything. And so those few people where they're negative for A, B, and C, then we probably will need another shed, because if it's negative for all 3, that means we just didn't get any DNA that we can amplify. So, but yeah, that'll be towards the end. And we are kind of getting near. I think we have 3 more to run. So probably in about 2 or 3 months, we'll get to the end of everyone's first time through, and then we'll go back and start rerunning things.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So the way the fast testing is working, it's taking those samples off of sequencing, which is how we used to run all of our tests. We only have so much room on each sequencing run. So the paid samples go first. Unfortunately, the DG project stuff has gotten bumped a couple of times because we just didn't have enough space on the runs. One of the cooler things about fast testing is now we're pulling those off the runs, which opens up a lot more research space, right? So we can do more DG project stuff. We can do more internal research, hognose stuff, things like that. So the more the fast tests that we start doing, the more room we make on those sequencing runs. So we should be able to conclude the DG stuff here pretty shortly. I mean, all the way through to the end.
Yes.
Sweet.
We're getting there.
Yeah. This was from I saw Ben put this comment up from Strange Creations. I had a shed test through RGI, and it came back het DG A and C and homozygous DGB. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so from everything we understand now, we know a lot more now than we did just a couple months ago and a couple months before that. So what we know now, the test of the three, C is the one that means the most. So since that says it's het for DGC, then I would consider that animal a het DG animal and should breed like that. DGA is on the same chromosome as DGC. So I think that it's probably kind of like a marker, or it's linked to C. So I don't know that there's any new information we can get from DGA, because DGC is clearly the more correct of the two. But DGB is on a completely different chromosome. So DGB we have seen pop up in albino and lavender albinos. And
Interesting.
So that it might be something that's increasing contrast or something like that, that the breeders that have kept their best looking DGs in the past to breed were not meaning to pick two different, they didn't even know they're picking two different mutations to, breed the next breeding. So that DGB, it could be that it has something that's going to help with contrast or color or something like that. But that's something that we're still looking at. And that's why the free DG project is so helpful. We'll be able to go in and compare like a pastel DG that's homozygous for DGB, and then a pastel visual DG that's negative for DGB, and we'll be able to see if there's, like a contrast difference or a color difference.
If it's het DGC, but het B or homozygous B, and you think it's a visual, we really want to see a picture.
You really want to see what? It cut off right at the end there, Sean.
I said, if it's a het DGC animal and either het B or homozygous B, and it's a visual, we really want to see it.
Yeah.
We want to see it. Like, we'd love to see a picture of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it happens very much, but yeah, those weird things do pop up. And so we're very interested in those weird things.
Yeah. Main's Morph said, mine says question mark on visual and rerun. I'm freaking out. I sent in a full panel on her now for your next run.
Mine
Nice.
says question on visual and rerun.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is, do we ever write out anything about visual?
Sometimes in the notes, if you put the traits of your animal, sometimes people will put in the traits what they're testing for, but other times they'll put like it's a visual clown or something. And when we're running a panel, if I see something that doesn't make sense, like visual clown, but then I get a negative or a het result, I'll put a question in that note section like, is this really a visual? Are we sure about this? Or did you, more often than not, they're like, oh no, I just meant I'm testing for clown. You see what I mean? So because that's sometimes how we'll catch things, right? If someone says they have a homozygous animal, we use those as controls. So we pay attention when you guys put those traits in there. And I'm still looking at those traits when I'm updating results. And when they don't match, it's automatically a flag for me. So rather than just put results up there and close it and, hope to never hear from anybody again, I'll usually put a question in there like, hey, has anybody, really looked at this animal? Is it possible that it's het or negative and not a visual? And, then we can get to the bottom of it and move on. So yeah, that's what that's probably about. Yeah. If you DM us through the Facebook and tell me what the order number is, I can look at it and tell you exactly what that note means.
Yeah.
What's your email, Sean?
My email is raregeninc, RAREGENINC @gmail. That goes directly.
Yeah, I'll type it in here. raregeninc@gmail. Is it cool if I type that in?
If you're doing that, if anybody's wondering why I'm hunched behind Ben, my lab only has 2 chairs. Ben is sitting in one because he's the PhD, and apparently gets to be the phone stand. So I have to hunker down, sit on the desk behind Ben if I want to. So
there we go. There we go. I sent it, or I posted it there for you to see. Awesome. Let's see. Michael Yadlowski says, I was in the 3rd run of the free DG testing, and the DGA is still listed as rerun. Do you have any plans of running those tests?
Yeah, so we touched on that earlier. Yeah, once we get through all of them the first time, we'll go back and try to rerun the ones that got missed for A or B or C. We'll get those reruns, but that's going to be probably a couple months out once we're through everything the first time through. But DGC clearly seems to be the most important one. So
yeah. Oh, yeah, apparently they meant DGB. Yeah.
Yeah, so DGB is the least sensitive test of the three. And so that's the one I have the hardest time getting to work consistently for people. So that's probably the one I'll have to rerun the most is DGB. So
Fair
it'll
enough.
it'll just take some time.
Yeah. Let's see. So one of the things we wanted to talk about that we wanted to talk about in this live stream was the fact that we had a big loss in the reptile community. More than likely, you guys have already heard about this. But Brian Barczyk has they announced his passing a few days ago. And Ben, you said you wanted to talk about your experiences with Brian.
Yeah. So when I lived in Utah before I came to Virginia, we used to go to the NARBC, their Anaheim show. That was like the closest big show for us. It was like a 11-hour drive. And I remember this is probably 2005. This was before Brian did snake bites or any of his TV stuff. But I obviously knew who he was. He'd been breeding for a long time, making lots of cool animals. And I just went up to him. I was vending the show. I'm just a random vendor. I was probably still in college. Well, I guess, yeah, I was an undergrad back then. But anyway, went up to him and just started talking while he was setting up for the show. He talked to me for like 45 minutes and just answering questions and talking about morphs we think are cool. And he was very, very he didn't seem bothered, annoyed. He wasn't in a hurry to, move on to something else. Like some, the more well-known breeders and people in other industries, they're kind of in a hurry for you to move on or whatever. It was definitely, it seemed like he would have happily stayed there just talking to me about snakes for as long as I wanted. So for 45 minutes setting up, he just, we're just talking the whole time and he's moving animals around and it was really cool. Obviously lots of people have had lots of different experiences with him, but that was my first experience. And then in 2011, when I graduated, I actually reached out to Brian because my dissertation project was on quantitative reproductive traits in ball pythons. So I used the Dan and Colette Sutherland's data that Colette had collected over like 10 years. I think it was 6,500 ball python eggs. And,
wow.
From like almost 1,000 clutches. And so we learned from that some things that we could potentially use to improve breeding efficiency. And he was one of the larger breeders for ball pythons and snakes in general. And so I reached out to him and I actually had like a half-hour-long phone interview. It's like a job interview to potentially come work with him, and didn't end up working out. But anyway, I definitely have very good positive memories of him. And to me, he's a lot like, I grew up really liking Steve Irwin, the croc hunter, and that was really hard for me when he passed away. And
Same.
I thought a lot of the same with Brian. The fact that he got so many people to that maybe had never thought about reptiles to like reptiles. And right now we're having a difficult time being able to as breeders being able to sell the babies we're making. But I think a really important thing, a lot of us are saying, hey, maybe some of you don't produce so many, hold back on producing so many clutches. But it's an economic thing. There's supply and demand. And the other side of that is something that Brian was awesome at, and that's getting new people to be interested in buying them. And so he brought thousands of people in to be interested in keeping reptiles and breeding reptiles. And I hope that we have more people that will take that mantle. And I hope many of you, and I know I see this all the time, but just be very kind to people, especially if they're new in the hobby, and help them learn and grow and understand and see how awesome this is and how much it can help for me personally, mental well-being, being able to have these animals, watch them grow and reproduce and all that stuff. So the more we can get new people in, that also helps, to be able to sell the animals we have. The more people that are interested in buying them, the better. And Brian did an amazing job with that.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So
Of course.
I've known Brian for well over 20 years, back when he's only a year older than me. He was born in 1969, I'm 1970. So we clicked pretty early just because we were a similar age and obviously had similar passions. And he used to vend some of the smaller shows in Florida when I lived there after I got married and started having babies. And we took my daughter, who was 5 years old at the time, and she was fascinated with the shows and with reptiles. But it was Brian spending time and talking to her. It got her really kind of motivated. And we ended up getting her a sand boa, a Kenyan sand boa. That was 19 years ago when she was 5 years old. And she still has that snake today. Although right now it's up in my snake room. That animal is 19 years old. That we bought from Brian off of a table at a Florida show almost 2 decades ago. And so it just shows you how far reaching, even when you're not a 5 million subscriber YouTube guy personality, right? When you're just a person out there who's willing to talk about the animals, be super positive about it and get a kid engaged. And, my 24-year-old marine biologist daughter still has that little pencil-sized snake that we bought, and it's now a full-grown adult female. She's had it for most of her life. It's almost 2 decades old. So it really is a good point that Ben made. It's just we all have an opportunity to reach out and touch people and bring new people into the hobby. And Brian was a big factor of that, even in my own family. So he will be missed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, especially for Lori and their kids.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to go get Stripey.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Stripey. Oh, yeah, no, that's great. I watched a few of Brian's videos, but admittedly I didn't watch a ton of them, which I probably will go back and watch them now because, he's touched so many different lives. And I think Sean made a really great point about, how many lives we touch with the animals that we, oh, wow, very big screen. There we go. Yeah, no, like especially the breeders and people who just like really get people into the passion of reptiles, it's kind of, it is teaching, and it's a lot like teaching in that you touch a lot of lives and change a lot of hearts and minds about reptiles and also the wildlife around us, helping them to appreciate nature more. I'm big into that side of it, of course, but yeah, no, that's special. I like that. And well said.
If you want to, while he's grabbing Stripey, if you want to get that OD and black pastel questions.
Yeah. Let's see. From Stephen Richardson, I have 2 Mojave OD Het DG females that look to me to be visual DG. Need to get them tested as well as their sister. Cool.
Yeah, send them in.
Looking forward to it.
Right,
it's Stripey.
The Stripey, the 19-year-old, really old girl. She's getting up there now.
Oh.
She's not right now because my room's pretty cold. So.
Yeah.
But
she's so pretty.
19 years now.
Wow.
And
she looks great.
Her name's Stripey, and there's not a stripe anywhere on her, so you can tell a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Hey, it seemed like a great idea at the time.
All right, I'm gonna get her back up too.
Okay. Wait. I want to see the little derpy face. Can you move her a little closer to closer to the camera?
She wants to see her face up close.
I love some sand boa faces. Yes. Hi, Stripey.
Say hi when Tess watches the video. That's my daughter's name, Tess. Say hi, Tess. All right, it's chilly in here.
Okay. Oh. And so that animal was produced by Brian Barczyk. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Go, Sean. Okay, so so something a little more lighthearted. We have if I can grab. There we go. So towards the end of our shows, we normally do a "Why I Do This" segment, but we decided since it's a live stream, we wanted to do something. Touch on something that happened in a post last week. And that was a "What's a funny thing people get wrong about reptiles" post. And we got probably like 11 funny comments about it. And so we wanted to share those with you guys. If you have some of your own, please feel free to share them because people say some funny things about reptiles sometimes, and you just got to get a giggle out of it. And they're great teachable moments.
Yeah.
Here we go. So here's the post. We love a good teachable moment. Zoom in so you guys can see the comments. The genetics and sex. Yeah, they get those wrong sometimes. Let's enjoy the humor of what they say. Here we go. So from Angelica Lickner, they say that your snakes will eat your dogs one day. And here's a picture of said dogs.
That would be tough.
That would be, I feel like they probably won't.
This is the funny thing people say.
Yeah. I read through all. There's some good ones.
Oh yeah. In the classic, snakes are smart enough to size you up to eat you. That's got to be from, that old chain email, like chain email era, I knew a lady whose cousin's sister's, somebody had a snake that she would keep in her bed, and, it was just sizing her up to eat her, which,
and the old chain emails where they hold the snake like way close. So it looks like it's like 10 feet long, but it's
right.
really 4 feet.
Yeah, and Jaden Blaine is exactly right. Like I don't know if some snakes are quite that smart. Maybe cobras, they are wicked smart. But no, they don't size up. They don't really plan. I don't think they have the capacity to do that. The classic that they were chased. I think on any other page you would have had
the chase one just this week.
Oh yeah, there's actually a Facebook group called Moccasins Not Chasing People that is just completely dedicated to, here I got chased by this, and they just want to find a video of a water moccasin actually chasing somebody.
Yeah. That was this person. He was at this genomics conference. He said he was from Virginia and that he got chased by a water moccasin once in the water.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I'm sure. It's amazing. They always it's like they know how to choose the people who don't have any kind of recording equipment on them or anything like that. They're like, that one, we can chase it. Thinking your snakes free roam around the house. I mean, I know some people let their big snakes do that, but my little ones, no. I have a cat, no.
A lot of people ask me that. They'll ask,
yeah.
You just let them roam your house. I'm like, no, they're in cages.
No, they have enclosures, and my poor sweet landlords, they come in sometimes to do routine inspections, and they saw I had a big old rat snake shed laying out to dry one day, and they were like, oh no, turned right around and walked out, and I was like, it's okay, they're enclosed, you don't even have to see them, like you'll see a tank, but trust me, it's fine. But if you do want to see them, I'll tell you all about them. One guy still will, like, he does the inspection in record time every time. They have one. Your corn will choke us out if you put her around her necks. Oh, that's so itty bitty. That's no. I don't think your corn snake's gonna do that. That they're slimy. That's a classic one.
Yeah.
I've never heard someone say that snakes sting with their tongue. That's pretty good.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And from Karen Crummer, not snakes, but rodents. They learned that mice are in fact not baby rats. That's true. Mice are a different animal.
Indeed.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Trap Talk Reptiles and Cold Blooded Earth are here. What's up, guys? Good to see you.
I can't see the screen at all. I'm so blind.
Oh, it's okay. Y'all are on the phone. It's all right.
Yeah. So Tom Barnhart said, hi, you tested any high OD? If so, have you seen a difference from regular OD? So I've only tested 4 so far that were like labeled as high OD. And like Sean was saying earlier, sometimes we don't know for sure if the person's saying this is high OD or I want to test and see if this is high OD. So out of those 4 that were labeled as being high OD, 2 tested positive for OD and 2 tested negative for OD. But I should, by the time I get home, I do have a whole bunch of sheds coming in. I think it was Wesley Hatmaker that gathered them all up for me. So hi, Wes, if you're watching, thank you for gathering them all. But he has some from like 3 or 4 different breeders, obviously including Aussie. So kind of different lines that, he knows that they came from. And so I'll be sequencing a whole bunch. And the next question that we have there.
Is it still related to OD?
No.
Okay, before you move on,
Yeah.
we're all going to put Ben on the spot here because he hates it when I do this to him. But what do you think's going on with high OD?
Ooh.
He hates it when I put him in this position.
I don't mind it. So with high OD, I think what makes the most sense, which, over time we'll see. But I think what makes the most sense is that there's another mutation near it that's giving more color, reduction in pattern, whatever's making it look a little cooler or a lot cooler in some cases. They're pretty amazing. I think there's another gene close by that, happened to have a crossover event. So you have two different mutations that are on different chromosome or on different genes on the same chromosome. But now that those got on the same one, they pass together. Or it could be that, it's another gene that pops up fairly frequently. But it is possible that it's another mutation in the same gene, kind of like we have with gravel and asphalt. They are actually two different mutations. They just look a little different. It could be that high OD and OD are mutations in the same gene, and one just makes it look even more extreme. So don't know for sure, but those are kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah. I think we should do, if we ever do get Travis Wyman back on here for a back to school style episode, we should talk about, what high OD might be, or what you just explained. Give kind of a, I'll draw some snake poo visuals again, and we'll explain it that way.
Hopefully we have those results in this February run, and then kind of along the same lines as this question, same question as Tom, but with black pastel and Barnhart line black pastel. So I've actually been talking to Tom, so he's the Barnhart line person, and Tom was gathering sheds, it sounded like, and if he's still here, he can pop in and say if he's sent them out yet, but I think he was planning on sending them out late this week, so tomorrow or Friday probably. So I'll have a whole bunch of for sure known Barnhart line. And I think he said some of them are super Barnhart black pastel as well, which will help. If it does indeed. So far, I've tested 3, maybe 4. I think 3 so far, and they have been negative for our black pastel test. So it seems likely that it's going to be similar to like the gravel and asphalt, where the black pastel and Barnhart line black pastel are different mutations in the same gene. So it's still the same gene, but they're two different mutations that do look a little different. So
I don't know the answer to this question, or can we get a super that is one hit of the Barnhart line and one like the just standard US black pastel?
Tom knows.
Compatible?
Yeah, Tom knows better than me, but I'm pretty sure that people have, proven that to be compatible, and so should be.
Very cool.
We'll see if he pops in with an answer, but
he did say,
right, where people think a black pastel is a black pastel. What you'd have a super, you'd send it into us, and it would show up as a het because ours works for one line but not the other. And this is all stuff that we knew until we started testing. This is why we do what we do, because it's this fun kind of weird stuff that you never would have noticed until we started paying attention. So,
and like with Phantom and Mystic, many people will say, they seem to be at least a little bit different, but when we test them out, they're identical. And then on the other hand, black pastel and Barnhart black pastel look pretty similar, but there are some differences, and it looks like so far that those differences are real. And when it sounds like Tom was saying, I'll get those Friday, so that should also be on the next run in February. We should have a good Barnhart black pastel line answer. And
Sweet.
I've done that combo, but I think others have produced a super with my line and another. So
and it looks like Sam Saresi's been getting tests from that. Oh, what were you saying, Sean?
I just said I think that's super cool that you can get a super form, but it's a completely different test.
So it's kind of like a highway or a freeway. Similar. Different. And Sam was saying that they've sent in some Barnharts that tested negative also. So I think that puts it up to 5 with the 2. I think Sam can correct me if he's wrong. I think we've run 2 for Sam that came back negative,
Mhm.
and that was just barely on the results we sent out. So
Yeah. And Geeks made a good point, sounds about right since they came from 2 different original imports. So, I mean, sometimes you get the same mutation on the same spot, but other times 2 different mutations just might look similar. Yeah. Oh, and that's with, I think, with the, or a solid black.
Okay.
Yeah.
With
Cine. Yeah.
Yep, and that makes sense that it would, because it's likely the same gene, just a different mutation on that gene. So cool. But yeah, we'll know more in a couple of weeks when we get those results.
Awesome. Yeah, and Sam Saresi even sent some clutch mates, but they're not tested, but still. That's cool. Awesome. So I think that's actually all that we have that we had scheduled for today. Look at us. We got all of our stuff out of the way and a bunch of questions too for in less than an hour.
And I do have to throw in there a thank you to Randy from Dark Cloud Reptiles for housing me while I was in San Diego for a couple of nights, and
Bless you, Randy.
Yes, got to do a live with Randy on his YouTube, and with Joe and his wife Tori. So that was fun too. Had a lot of fun there. And yeah, hopefully, I haven't talked to Sean yet. We'll have to decide if we can make it out in June for the next Pomona. And a lot of people were asking if we're going to make it to the March Tinley. We haven't done a March Tinley before, but we'll have to talk about it and see if 1 or 2 or 3 of us are going to go.
I think the Dallas one's in April.
Okay.
So that's like 2 back-to-back. And I can't come up with an excuse not to go to the one in April because it's literally in my backyard. So.
Yeah.
Fair.
So yeah, March one might be tough for us, but we'll pretty much always try to have at least 2, if not 3 of us at the October 10th.
Part of the other issue is we can go, but we're getting to the size now where we really need to have a table. And any RBC, man, they're sold out a lot. Yeah. It's real hard to get in on a waiting list now for, a couple of the shows. And look, nothing against those guys, right? I mean, good for them, but I wish we could get more tables and more space at some of the shows because we'd love to set up a proper booth so we could present ourselves as a more professional organization than just walking around and, giving out T-shirts.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't make them any less fun, but, it'd be nice to have the space.
Yeah, we got lucky at the last Tinley that Canova and Clutch allowed us to use one of their tables, but that doesn't always happen. So.
All right. Let's see, Double Muscle Fitness, welcome. We did talk about free DG, but I forget what Ben said as far as when the next one's coming out.
We fit them on any run that we can, and the next run is going to be the getting run the first week of February, with results coming out probably sometime in the second week of February. So that's the next chance. Right now, I think that they'll likely be on there, but if we have a whole bunch of sheds come in, it could get pushed back again, but I would say there's a pretty good chance that we'll have the next batch. So it'll be like 385 to like 470 something, whatever that next set of 96 will be. So those are coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap it up, do you guys have any more questions? Anything that you wanted to mention about today's show or things you're excited for?
While you're giving somebody time to type, can I do a shout out real quick?
Oh yeah.
I would take it as a personal favor to all of my reptile friends in the reptile army out there. My daughter, Stripey's mom from earlier in the live cast, she's a marine biologist and just started her own podcast. You can find it on Spotify and most other places. It's called the Freaky Fauna Files. If you guys just
Freaky Fauna Files.
Follow. I'd sure appreciate it just because it's my kid and I want to support her. So shout out to my daughter, podcast, which I think was released today. She and one of her friends from work, who's also a marine biologist. So they just talk about some of the more freaky and unusual animals in the ocean and kind of dive deep on, nerdy animal stuff, which you guys should all like. So
you have to tell them who she works for.
Tess also has spent some time working with the folks at NASA.
Yeah, and she's been training them how to dive.
Right.
Oh, cool.
She lives down there in Galveston, so she's not far away.
Yeah. Is Freaky Faunophiles just all one word, or is it three separate words?
I only found out about the fact that she released it about 45 minutes before we went live. So I didn't even have a chance to listen but the first 10 minutes of it. I think it's 3 separate words. Freaky Faunophiles. It popped right up on my Spotify.
There we go. Okay, I just posted it in the comments so people can check it out.
So I would appreciate it, guys, if you guys would give her a like. It would help her out and help me out. And
Yeah,
make me feel
absolutely.
better. Thanks.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you, Inquiline. Yeah, I'm going to have to go and follow that after this too. That's cool. All right.
Right on. And from me, just once again, thank you very much. It was fun going to this meeting in San Diego, talking to a bunch of academics. I was able to tell them how a kid that loved reptiles ever since he was born, been chasing snakes and breeding snakes his whole life, is able to quit his full-time job and just do reptile stuff because of the technology that academics have figured out, and we're able to apply it and help reptile breeders. And that was awesome to be able to go give that talk. And it's only possible because you all have sent sheds in and purchased tests to help us be able to keep paying for more and more test development. And so thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Ben's being a little modest. He was a sold out event. There wasn't an empty seat in the auditorium. People were standing to hear about the kind of groundbreaking science that Ben's been working on. So
Yep,
really?
Sitting on the
really
ground.
cool. Sitting on the stairs, sitting on the ground, really cool stuff.
Yeah,
Dude, that's awesome.
Have to get a bigger room next year for that session.
Yeah, you got to get
That's
pictures
just
of these things. That's awesome.
Sort of wake everybody up, though. I mean, we're so used to playing with these genetics in our animals and breeding them, and it's a hobby to all of us. But really, it's pretty highly technical stuff. And you've got really high-level academics that are diving deep, and they're fascinated by what we do.
Yeah.
Because it's so different and so out of the box from what they normally see. So it's a really unique niche to be in and a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I know I'd love to see more of more playing nice between the hard science and the reptile hobby, because a lot of times with, I know it can be hard for, Ben, you were talking at one point how it can be hard to get some research done on captive animals. It can be difficult to get those published in some scientific journals because, in those nature journals, they'll sometimes be like, well, what can we learn about a snake in a box? But no, there's lots actually. And there's a lot you can learn from things that are done in the reptile hobby. So that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That reminds me, I thought earlier, Ben, we should make a video about the study that you did about like 10 years worth of ball python eggs. That would be really cool to just have an episode about. I know you did a dissertation on it and you probably are done talking about it, or you were years ago, but I think
what would make it extra interesting would be to have Colette on too, and Dave also.
Oh, yeah.
Dan also, if he wants to, but yeah, Colette, Dan told me when I went there to get all that data, like it was a stack of papers like this big because everything was handwritten. So I spent like a month and a half doing data entry, and that's all I would do. I would like go to work, go to the university and into my cubicle, and I'd be there for 10 hours just entering stuff. And I did that for like a month and a half.
Nice.
But Dan's like, I told her so many times over the last 10 years, Colette, you take 45 minutes to set up a clutch. It should take you 5 minutes or less. Yeah. She's like, but I want to record. She did I think she got a bachelor's degree that had something in biology. But yeah, he's like, Colette, you take so long. But that information was really helpful and made it so that I could do a dissertation on ball python reproduction, which I don't know if anyone has ever done before.
Yeah. Super cool. Thank you, Perry.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I would like to be. Since I've spent some time in academics and started out as a breeder, I love seeing when those two come together. It's awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else before we call it a day?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for those of you who tune into the stream today, and for those of you who are watching this later on. Welcome and thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. Like clip and share the parts that you like the most. Really appreciate all the interaction. It means the world to us, and you guys make it all worth it. So thanks so much. And let me find the outro button wherever it is. There we go. Okay, see you guys. Outro in 3, 2, 1.
Look like a cop.
The bunny ears were funny, Sean.